What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Talking ATL Hawks. And I do want to apologize in advance. My voice sounds very, very rough. I promise you, I'm not sick.
It sounds better. Y'all should have heard him the last 2 days.
I have a perfectly good explanation as to why.
Was this all from the game?
Well, the game had a lot to do with it, and for those who don't know, Chase and I were at the Hawks and Bulls game the day after Christmas, and if y'all don't know what went down in that game, we're about to get into it, but it was madness in the fourth quarter, and that had a lot to do with why my voice sounds like this now. But and it also has a lot to do with this Dyson Daniels City Edition Hawks jersey that I copped in the game too. I can't help myself. You know,
Yeah.
I saw the Great Barrier Thief jersey hanging up in the Hawks store. I didn't have the City Edition jersey yet. And
I got a Jalen
like,
Johnson one. I should have stuck with theme.
I might have to
wore mine as well.
I might have to get a Jalen Johnson jersey myself, dude. Like I might have to. It's either gonna be him or probably Zach. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind.
The way he's been playing, yeah. I was just like Andrew when we were at the Hawks game. I got a jersey too, Jalen Johnson. Hoping with the grace of God that Jalen Johnson can stay with the Hawks for a long time. But as the rate the Hawks are going, I don't think any Hawks fans should expect him to leave anytime soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the intro. So that explains why my voice does sound a little rough. But like I said, I'm not sick. Just the mixture of the screaming at the Hawks game and the weather that's been a little cold. It's just been a recipe for disaster, for my voice. But, we're going to push through it. We're going to battle it on because we have a lot to cover. The Hawks just wrapped up their 4-game homestand last night, and they took a flight to Canada last night to start the biggest road stretch of the entire season, spanning 6 games. We're about to take a 6-game road trip out west, and it's going to be tough. We're not going to be back in State Farm until the 11th of January when the Houston Rockets come to play. So it's going to be tough, but these Hawks are battle tested. What I've seen from them during this 4-game stretch gives me all the confidence in the world to believe that we can come back home with a winning record on this 6-game road trip. But, of course, before we start things off, Chase, John, how you guys doing?
We're doing pretty good. Christmas was good. Got new computer, got new clothes,
There we go.
Got a lot of good stuff for Christmas, and we got some good Hawks wins for Christmas too.
That's right, baby.
Merry
Christmas.
We're at the game on Thursday, and then we had a game on Saturday that we're gonna get into later. But
the game
Christmas was good. And I'm just excited for this new year.
Absolutely, man, and my Christmas actually was also good as well. We got a new golf set because me and Andrew been getting into golf lately. We hit an 89 yesterday, and for all those who don't play golf, if you've only been playing for a short amount of time, 89 is not bad at all. Now it's definitely not great, but we're still new to the game, so I'll definitely take it. But also, like Jordan said, the Hawks, gave us some Christmas presents with a great homestand. We had that really rough loss to the Grizzlies to start the homestand, but it's the way we responded, the way we rebound, and the way the Hawks are shaping right now. Now, it's still not perfect, especially on the defensive side of the ball. There are still a lot of flaws, but that offense, the way the chemistry is growing, what Quinn Snyder has done to this Hawks offense and allowed players like Trae Young to mesh with Jalen Johnson, Zachary Richardson, Dyson Daniels, it has turned into a lethal weapon that could soar the Hawks further than people thought we could this year. But I say to start the episode, we'll go ahead and get into it. Of course, the last episode, we ended at the Grizzlies game. So for this episode, we're just going to preview the 3 wins that the Hawks had this homestand against the T-Wolves, the Bulls, and the Heat. So we'll start with that Monday night game against the Timberwolves, where the Hawks won 117-104 behind Trae Young's dominant performance of 29 points, shooting 8 for 15 on field goals. But a big factor in the Hawks win this game is how we were able to shut down Anthony Edwards, holding him to 7 for 20,
What
and
have I been?
Randall. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Jordan. Go ahead.
What
No, go
have I
ahead.
been? What have I been saying this for the past month? When we play good defense and we shut down a key player, we win. That's what we did. I'm sorry, Jace.
No, you're good.
Got to give John his flowers, you know.
Oh, absolutely. But
yes, I'm sorry. I just had to put that in there because we shut him down. We held him to 7 for 20 and 1 for 7 from 3. That's all I had to say. I'm sorry.
Oh no, and you're exactly right, Joyner. Joyner read the script. He knew this was going to happen. And what's really funny about this is, I think that this was prior to the game, prior to the Hawks and T-Wolves game. Let me actually go ahead and look at this real quick. So, right before the Timberwolves came to Atlanta, they had a rough road loss to the Golden State Warriors. And after the game, Anthony Edwards was kind of expressing his frustration with the Timberwolves team and kind of explaining why they're struggling to win, especially after how dominant they were just a season ago. And he kind of explained, he said, there's no game plan behind this Timberwolves team. He said, we literally go out there, we know I'm going to shoot and we know Randall's going to shoot. But outside that, we have no idea what we're going to do. And it's kind of funny because right after he said that, it was the exact same thing when he came to Atlanta. Edwards shot. He shot 20 shots. Randall shot 16 shots. And outside of Nas Reed, who had 19, a lot of people on the team didn't really shoot a lot. But the thing is, like Jordan said, we shut down Anthony Edwards, which really exposed that everything Ant-Man said was right. Because realistically, if your team's really that great, if your star player struggles shooting, like Trae Young on the Atlanta Hawks, sometimes he has other options. And I think this really sets apart, to me, where the Hawks are going. Because think about this. Everybody, look at the Timberwolves roster as a whole. Now, I know that Cat trade is looking a little controversial now, but even with Randall and DiVincenzo, this is still a really good Timberwolves team. This is a Timberwolves team that people thought have a chance to make it to the finals this year.
They still do.
Now, if your team's really that great, if your star player like Anthony Edwards gets shut down or struggles from the field, you should have other options that would allow you to continue to still win the game, even if your star player is struggling. Now, obviously, that's not been the case this year for the Timberwolves because, like we saw Monday against the Atlanta Hawks, if you shut down the core of that team like Anthony Edwards is to the Timberwolves, they don't have an answer outside of Randall. But, you can't rely on Julius Randle to carry a team. He's been very inconsistent throughout the years. But now look at the Atlanta Hawks side on Trae Young. Trae Young is obviously the star. He's the glue to this Atlanta Hawks team. But when he's struggling from the field, he can give it to Jalen Johnson. He can give it to DeAndre Hunter off the bench. He has Zachary Richardson and Dyson Daniels right next to him. He has other answers. And not only does he just have other answers, he uses them. He allows them to help his game as well. And that was the difference between the Atlanta Hawks and Timberwolves Monday night. And to me, so far, that's been the difference between the two teams this season. So the Timberwolves are viewed as great. What does that say about the Atlanta Hawks?
Let me turn off the Chase Jefferson podcast for a minute and let me give my 2 cents in about this game, because there's something in that big ramble that you forgot to mention, which was a big trajectory point for this Atlanta Hawks team. And that's because we saw the second coming of Larry Bird.
Oh, there were multiple factors in this game. I just want to rant about.
Oh, you want to save me something. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. But that man right there is named Garrison Matthews, known to the Hawks faithful as Gary Bird, had an incredible night from beyond the arc, racking up 25 points and a perfect 7 for 8, near perfect, 7 for 8 field goal percentage from the 3-point line. And you know what I love about this game? I absolutely love about this game is that this game was a game of runs and a game of lead changes. Right off the tip, we saw the Hawks really jump forward with a lot of good off-ball movement and pick-and-roll screenplay from Trae Young to Clint Capella, Jalen Johnson, that allowed the Hawks to get a 35-19 advantage at the end of the first. And then in the second quarter, it was literally the script but flipped backwards. We saw players like Rudy Gobert, DiVincenzo, and then even Naz Reid, who was a really big factor in this game for the Timberwolves, scoring 20 plus, really take control inside the paint, where the Hawks defense has really been lacking in the last few games despite these wins. And the Timberwolves jumped into the lead heading into halftime. And then we saw a perfect 30-30 third quarter. And that's where Garrison Matthews really started to connect from beyond the arc. And then the fourth quarter, it was like the first quarter all over again. Literally the same score as the first quarter. Hawks won 35-19 again. Really dominant. And what I absolutely love about what I saw in the fourth quarter of this game is the amount of confidence that was displayed in Trae Young and Jalen Johnson. There were key moments in the game where the Hawks had chances to close out, and Trae knew exactly his dynamic duo partner to go to and who was going to give him those points to put up and completely put a cap on his game. And that's exactly what Trae did. Trusted the hot hand. And John, I'm going to throw to you now, but I have reasons to believe, and I don't care if any of you out there think this is crazy. I have reasons to believe that Trae Young and Jalen Johnson right now is the best duo in the NBA. I'm talking about the best duo in the entire NBA.
That's not a overreaction at all.
That's not incredibly crazy. I mean, I wouldn't say that they're the best just because like I feel like this is where they start to peak, and we've seen like other duos that have been together like Tatum and Brown who just won a championship. They might be the best duo, but that's not a crazy take at all. They're definitely top three in my opinion, but I don't think that they're the best.
No, and that's me being unbiased.
And you know what? And that's the thing about this podcast. Yes, we might be Hawks fans, but we're not going to be biased. We're going to leave our honest opinions on the table.
Oh, I am. We're winning the finals.
But when you know what?
We're winning the finals. And I've seen enough.
And you know what? Listen,
book it.
And you know, with that being said, you know, when we see we know greatness when we see greatness, we are going to speak greatness. And nothing could have been greater than what the Atlanta Hawks were able to pull off this past Thursday night, the day after Christmas, against the Chicago Bulls. Now, Joyner, I'm going to go ahead and let you lead off this one. Go ahead and just set the tone. Let the Hawks fans know what the Hawks were able to pull off this past Thursday night.
Well, you have his jersey. Jalen Johnson had a masterclass, only missing 5 shots. Shot 11 for 16, 30 points. 15 freaking rebounds, and that's more than Mr. Capella, who's supposed to be our center, our big man, who's supposed to be getting the rebound, making a lot of rebounds. Trae Young had 27-13, and then again, like I was saying, DeAndre Hunter off the bench, masterclass, 6th man of the year, book it.
Put a stamp on it.
25 points, 6 rebounds. Larry Jr. Had himself a game with a quiet 12 points. Zachary Ricochet had 16, along with Dyson Daniels 15 points. And oh wait, no, I thought that was Dyson's 8 steal game. I might have missed. Got the wrong game. I thought this was Dyson's 8 steal game. I guess I was wrong on that.
It was not, but he's still pulling up an incredible stat line nonetheless.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I mean, like his plus minus was plus 17. So, like,
and I had to say, the one steal that Dyson Daniels did get ended up to be a crucial steal that actually led to the Hawks getting their pass out to Jalen Johnson that eventually gave him the lead in that game. But it was incredible.
Here's the thing, though, about this game, though. Before it even started, every time the Bulls come to Atlanta, we have a buddy that we went to high school with. He's a Bulls fan, so we always go to the Hawks and Bulls games. And we were sitting there watching them warm up, and the Bulls released their roster for the night. And I was looking over it with my buddy, and they were without of course, Josh Giddey, because of the injury he's been dealing with. Although he was questionable for that night, they officially rolled him out that day. And then they were out Ayo as well, and then who else? help me out.
Lonzo, he didn't play.
Lonzo Ball. So Lonzo Ball, Giddey, and Io, they were all out for that game.
And Chris Dart, for those who care.
And I don't think anyone does. But, and then on the Hawks side, the only players the Hawks were missing, yes, they were without Bogey, and of course, Okongwu, which we didn't expect Okongwu to play anyway. But despite no Bogey, despite no 00, compared to what the Bulls were missing, this was a game the Hawks should have had full control of. I looked at my buddy. We both agreed. I said, if the Hawks lose tonight, this would be a bad loss for Atlanta because of the point guard situation. Io, every time, the Hawks haven't had their best performances against Chicago recently, and mainly because when Trae Young's going against Io, for some reason, that's Trae Young's kryptonite. Io always shuts down Trae Young, but because Trae wasn't playing, that allowed Dyson Daniels and Trae Young to attack the Bulls at the point guard position because they had practically nobody. Well, in theory, but then when the game started, we all know the story. Has anyone in their life seen a man like Jalen Carter shoot lights out like he did only in that first quarter? Because outside the first quarter, Carter did absolutely nothing. But Buddy reached into his bag. He shot 7 for 11 from the three-point spot, 9 for 15 in total, finishing with 19 points in the first quarter and digging the Hawks in a deep hole early.
And mind you, he had 2 of those three-pointers resulted in and ones. Don't forget that.
Yes.
Wait, I'm sorry. Jalen Carter, Jalen Carter came off the bench?
Yeah, 36 minutes off the bench.
Damon Terry had 9 minutes. Why did they just start Javon?
Well, I honestly think because they saw Javon Carter catch heat in the first quarter, and they just assumed that we need to max his minutes right now because that guy was not missing.
But what it turned out to be is after the first quarter, he did absolutely nothing.
No, he got shut down.
So you continue to think, you're like, well, how did the Hawks dig in such a big hole? Because offensively, the Hawks were great. There's no problem on the offensive side of the ball for the Atlanta Hawks. We scored 32 in the second, 38 in the third. But the problem was, and this has been a key problem for the Hawks all season long, I feel like we talk about it every episode, but it continues to get more and more apparent. Our perimeter defense is a load of garbage. I don't know what it is, but we just leave so many people wide open beyond the arc. And in today's NBA, if you have a lick of space, they're going to hit a 3 9 out of 10 times. I don't care who it is.
And they did. They made a total of 22 3-pointers in that game.
And do you know who was a big factor in that? Outside of Javon Carter?
Maybe Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine, who was lights out in the third quarter, which really put the Hawks in a big hole because it was close in the third quarter. About halfway through the third, it was like a 7 or 5 point game. And then something clicked in Zach LaVine. And it doesn't matter if it was contested or uncontested. He couldn't miss. And it got so bad that in a blink of an eye, the Hawks were down by 21 headed to the fourth quarter.
It's not even that we were actually down by 17 heading to the fourth quarter. But it's not even that Zach LaVine was missing. The net wasn't even moving. Like, his shot became so pure. And I remember, Chase and I are sitting there. The stadium's going crazy. They're playing that one song. I can't remember what it's called. But everyone's up on their feet dancing. And it's because Vic just hit a 3 to take the deficit down to 5. Mm-hmm. The Bulls call a timeout. The Hawks are on the 7-0 run. Stadium's getting loud. Everyone's up on their feet. Hawks fans are taunting the Bulls fans. And then it's like Zach LaVine got possessed by prime Tracy McGrady or something. I don't even know. But Zach LaVine was out there balling. I'm talking about he got so much momentum that every time the ball was in his hands, everyone else would space out because they knew Zach LaVine was either taking Jalen Johnson or Clint
He was
Capella.
calling ISOs every single time he had the ball.
Yeah, he was either taking Jalen Johnson or Clint Capella in the paint, or he was going to pull up on Dyson Daniels for 3. And it's a problem when the clear front runner for Defense Player of the Year can't even slow down.
There's a big size advantage there, so I don't think that's really expected.
Size advantage has not stopped Dyson Daniels at all this season. So even that was a major shock. And even Zach LaVine's post-fade game was unstoppable. You give him an ounce of space, you might as well squint in your eyes and you're looking at Kobe Bryant on those post-fades. And like Chase said, the Hawks got down by 17. And then it gets worse. The fourth quarter starts and the Hawks go down by 21. Guys, I want you to hear me out. We were down by 21 with 7 minutes left. 21 points with 7 minutes left. The Bulls had a 99.9% chance to win at that point in the game.
That's when I started subbing in my bench. That's when I was on the foul.
Well, that's when most teams would do it. But Quinn Snyder has some kind of spectacle on this team. And he just knew that the Hawks were going to go out there and go on a 20-0 run. And we have done something we did something that only 4 teams have done in NBA history. And that score 50 points in one quarter. Only 4 teams have done that in NBA history, and we have stamped ourselves in the history books by making one of the most improbable comebacks in basketball history.
Well, see, so we're sitting there in the arena, right? My buddy, he's a Bulls fan. So the turnaround happened when it was 126-110 with 5:31 left in the game. And at this point, our buddy who's a Bulls fan, there's a couple Hawks fans leaving. So he's looking at him. He's like, bye-bye, waving all the Hawks fans, talking all this crap, whatever. But I went back and watched this game on TV. And Bob Rathbun, at this point in the game, with 5:31 in the game, he'd said something that the whole stadium was thinking. He was like, this Hawks offense is unstoppable right now. We're scoring every possession. And he said this. He said, you have to feel like if the Hawks can find a way to string up a couple of stops, they're going to make this a game.
Yeah.
And as soon as he said that, Trae Young hit a 3. Dyson Daniels hit a 3. Trae Young got a 10-foot floater. Trae Young made 2 free throws after a flagrant foul. We got the ball back, and what happened? DeAndre Hunter hit a 3. Trae Young, did we get a stop? This when Dyson Daniels got steals, and then Trae Young instantly drove down the court, pull up a deep 3 from the parking lot to tie the game.
That step back 3 from the top of the key was you talk about a stadium exploding. That step back 3 to tie the game was insane.
It wasn't even a step back. It was he drove up the court. He had Vucevic behind him, and Vucevic kind of did this little thing where he reached over to stop Train from dribbling the ball, but then he took a step too far. Train just looked at him, and the whole stadium knew exactly what was going to happen. Pulled up from 3 and drained it. And then this is when Dyson Daniels got a steal, and then he gave it to Dyson Daniels threw the ball, and then he gave it a Clint. And then for some reason, the Bulls, Zach LaVine and Vucevic was sleeping in the paint. Jalen Johnson was right behind them, so all Clint Capella did was pass to Johnson. Johnson dunked it to give us the lead, and then it was history from there. But Joyner, I want you to explain something to me. Billy Donovan has been a head coach for a long time.
This is ridiculous.
The Hawks went on that 20-0 run. The entire time the Hawks were on this run, Billy Donovan had 2 timeouts. Do you know how many he used?
Let me get 0.
0. During the whole 20-0 run, Billy Donovan did not call 1 timeout for the Chicago Bulls. How insane is that?
Very insane. And as a basketball-minded guy, that you can't do that. If someone gets hot, you gotta call timeout to cool him down. If maybe not cool him down, maybe just to sub someone in from your bench, just you're trying to defend that guy because whoever was on in that game, whoever was on him was not doing a good job either.
And I don't care how much you're up by. If a team is gaining an unfathomable amount of momentum and you see your 21-point lead trickle, I would have called a timeout when it was a 10-point game. That's almost fireable. I'm surprised the Bulls didn't fire him. That's what I'm saying. If my team gets their lead cut from 21 to 10 in a span of 3 minutes, my hands are going like this. I'm wailing my hands and saying, timeout, we've got an issue to solve. And I do want to say I want to tip my cap to the Hawks at the free throw line. Let's see. I just had 32 to 34 from the free throw line. If we fail to convert on those 3 points, we might not even come back and win that game.
The comeback doesn't happen.
Yeah, the comeback doesn't happen if we leave points at the free throw line, which the Hawks have somewhat struggled with this season. So I was very pleased to see that. And can we talk about at that pivotal switch in the game, how unbelievable confident Zachary Richardson got. I've never seen a rookie hustle as much on defense as Zachary did during that 20-0 run. There were some possessions where the Bulls were trying to go back to their strengths and give it to, like, they'll pass it to Javon Carter at the top of the wing, and then Vooch would set a screen and he'd go around and then give it to Zach LaVine in the paint so he could do a post fade. Every single time the Bulls would try to do that, Zachary would hustle from one end of the wing to the other to make sure that he would cut off the pass from Vucevic or Carter to Zach LaVine. He made sure he would. He was even diving for loose balls out there like he was a football player. I absolutely love seeing that from Zachary. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, 100%. But of course, so the Hawks having that 2-game winning streak, all this time they found themselves.
Oh, sorry. Before you move on, I do want to correct myself. I did say that was the fourth time in NBA history a team has scored 50 in one quarter. I said it wrong. It's the fourth time in NBA history a team has scored 50 points in the fourth quarter that led to a comeback. That's what I meant to say. So I know some of y'all are probably like, what? But no, that's what I meant to say. So yeah, but still, history was made. That's all I know.
And along with that history, of course, the Hawks found themselves a game above 500, 2-game winning streak, and we had another big test just 2 days after that. We hosted an early Saturday game against Miami Heat, which is odd. I can't remember the last time the Hawks played so early on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Usually it's a Sunday. We're playing about 3 o'clock, but 3 o'clock game on Saturday. The Miami Heat's coming to now. Now this is a team that's in a tough, interesting situation right here because, of course, we all know Jimmy Butler was requesting a trade for the Miami Heat, but then the Heat president said no. We are not trading Jimmy Butler. And that has to create some controversy between Jimmy Butler and the front office, but because this whole controversial situation is going on, obviously Jimmy Butler didn't play against the Hawks on Saturday, which was a big opportunity for the Hawks to execute. Joyner, I want you to go ahead and break it down. What happened Saturday between the Hawks and the Heat?
Another Jalen Johnson breakout game.
That's right, baby.
Another one.
13 for 20. Shoot for 3 from 3. And then Trae Young, he didn't have the best shooting performance. That's gonna happen, obviously. But he did show his playmaking side with 15 assists. Larry Jr. had 10. DeAndre Hunter, again, give that man 6th man of the year.
Please.
26 points, 8 for 14 from the field, 4% from 3. And then we didn't have Dyson this game, so we had Vit start.
That was fun.
That was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, like I said in the past, Vit. I like Vit. He's a good guy. He's a good bench guy for us to have. Bogey didn't play, but again, we had a good outing from Gary Bird.
Gary Bird, baby.
27 minutes, 5 for 8 from the field, for 18 points. But yeah, no. I definitely think that Jimmy Butler and Kevin Love not playing. Don't forget Kevin Love's on the Heat.
Yeah, I think everyone forgets that.
Yeah, because he's gone everywhere at this point. But not having a Jimmy Butler and Kevin Love there definitely hurt the Heat. But Tyler Hero, he did do well for the Heat, scoring 28. But I guess that wasn't enough for them against the Hawks. So good win.
And
before you say that, can I just salute something to something that Joyner said?
Sure.
He said that Trae Young didn't shoot well from the field, right?
Yeah.
He actually shot pretty horrible. He shot 3 for 13. But what was he able to do?
Dish it out
and use his other teammates. Anthony Edwards, why don't you do the same thing, buddy? Sorry. I know that was my rant. I had that early in the episode. I just wanted to bring that up because that's a perfect example between a veteran leader like Trae Young.
I mean, yeah, 7 years in the NBA, we're seeing more maturity from Trae Young this year than we've ever seen before, and the results are flourishing. And so while Chase and I were at the Bulls game, it was the same night that the Heat were playing in Orlando. Or I'm sorry, yeah, it was in Orlando. And Chase and I kept looking at the scoreboard because we were thinking to ourselves, Hawks did a win against Chicago. Miami loses to Orlando. This game on Saturday could elevate the Hawks to the fifth seed, to one of the top 5 seeds in the Eastern Conference, because we're currently sitting at the 6th spot. But, of course, for those who didn't see, Tyler Hero hit a buzzer beater against the Magic. So we were like, well, this game on Saturday becomes a little bit bigger now if the Hawks want to get an upper edge on the top 5 positioning in the Eastern Conference. And like you said, aside from DeAndre Hunter, who's still averaging 23 points off the bench, and he's been doing that for the last few months, Larry Nance Jr. has really stepped into a big role since Bogey and Okongwu have been out and Kobe Buffkin got that season-ending injury. And my goodness, look back and think about how huge that Dyson Daniels and Larry Nance Jr. trade has really become for the Atlanta Hawks. Because we obviously, Dyson Daniels is going to win Defensive Player of the Year. If he doesn't, the league is rigged. Then you got Larry Nance Jr., who is really becoming a very effective piece off the bench, giving you a quiet 15-plus with a handful of rebounds. His inside defense is really good. He can disrupt transitions very well, and he's really just come together from the three-point line altogether. And this game against the Heat, like y'all guys said, no Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, he's unstoppable. Once Tyler Hero gets a hot hand, if you're not putting your genitals in his mouth every time he shoots, he's gonna make it.
It's a good way to explain it. Yeah,
he's gonna make it, and that's just Tyler Hero for you. But then you got players like Bam Adebayo, who's really strong in the paint, just making it difficult for guys like Jalen Johnson, in theory, to score in the paint. But what area of Jalen Johnson's game has he gotten down to a T? And that is the mid-range game. If the paint's not open, if he sees Bam sitting right there, he'll put on his little Trae Young floater and get it over the 7-footer and knock it in. And then he's got a nice little mid-range pull-up. And that's what makes DeAndre Hunter so good as well, because of how smooth and how rhythmic his mid-range shot is. And it's hard to contain, again, unless your genitals are in his mouth. But, of course, that this is basketball. You're not going to be doing that on the court unless you want a flagrant 2 foul. So this was a really, really good position for the Hawks to go out there and get a win, which they did, winning the game by 10. And it was very close. Just like the Bulls game, it came down to the final 5 minutes. And the Hawks were able to put together a 7-0 run and really kind of take advantage there. Just a huge win altogether. And now the Hawks still sitting at 6 in the Eastern Conference, getting ready to take on the Toronto Raptors tonight, which, by the way, is very confused as to why the Hawks are only 1.5-point favorites when we're talking about a Raptors team that's lost, 5-6 in a row.
But they got dick on their team.
Let me do. Yeah, speaking of genitals and people's mouths,
for him to game time decision. I don't know if you're looking at injury report.
Yeah, I did see that earlier, and I feel like the last couple of games he's been a game time decision. I know he was questionable for the Bulls game, and even the Heat game he was questionable. And now you have to think that this is a big out west road trip for the Atlanta Hawks. A road trip, actually the biggest road trip of the season, that's going to involve the Nuggets, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Jazz, and the Suns. So you have to think there is a chance Quinn Snyder might decide to sit Trae Young down for this game and probably use more,
give some rest.
Maybe use more Keaton Wallace and Vitt, probably allow Vitt to get the start, to get some rest, and maybe miss this one since we have such a big road trip, rest of the road trip coming up. But if you're, as all Atlanta Hawks fans know, these are the type of games the Hawks like to lose, and these are the type of games the Hawks cannot lose, because this is what's seen as a guaranteed game. And which, by the way, the Raptors are now favored.
And what sucks, and I think is my point to why the Raptors are favored, is Larry Nance Jr. is out for the game. Which I didn't realize that until just now. But Larry Nance is
probably no Okongwu as well, or no Bogey. So the Hawks are very injury prone. But this is a game the Hawks have to have, because games like against the Lakers, the Clippers, the Suns, those aren't guaranteed games. These are, if you can't win your guaranteed ones, it's going to hurt you a lot more if you lose the tight and competitive ones.
Yeah, we're talking about a 7-24 Raptors team here.
But they do have Dick.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they do have it. Yeah. Something else too. Like the Raptors are 7-24, but they're 6-10 at home. That means like 90% of their. That means like 90% of their games that they won at home. They won one road game.
Yep. So this is their territory, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing is, so go ahead, Jordan. Go ahead.
I wouldn't say anything. Very good. I wouldn't say anything.
I was just gonna say, like, to kind of add on to what you said, like, if anyone like Toronto, that's a team that represents Canada. Like, regardless of how the team looks, that's gonna be a packed out stadium every single time because that is a dedicated fan base to the T. Of course, they represent all of Canada. So all of Canada is behind Toronto. So this is, regardless, a tough place to play, despite what the team looks like. So, and of course, last year we saw the Hawks struggle a lot when they played in Toronto, and they took a loss, and that was another game that the Hawks should have won. And I just don't want to see a repeat of that tonight because, like I said, with the Lakers, the Clippers, and the Suns coming up, and the Nuggets, a loss here would really, really hurt the Hawks. And we really need that momentum to keep rolling when we meet those tougher opponents.
Yeah, especially like you said, Chase, especially because of this road trip, just in case the Hawks were to lose 4 out of these 6 games, you want these gimme games in your back pocket.
Like the Jazz game, that's also going to be another gimme game.
Yeah, to help keep you afloat when you take on tough road trips that the Hawks are about to take on. And then even coming back home, we had to play the Rockets and the Suns, which the Rockets and the Suns have been 2 very testy teams in the Western Conference. And then the Hawks would go right back to Chicago after that 2-game stand. So really for the whole month of January, the Hawks are going to be on, the plane. Hopefully bringing some dubs back to Atlanta. But yeah, we're kind of getting into that swing of the NBA season where we're really starting to see the true identity of each franchise this year. And I think I love what I'm seeing from the Hawks when it comes to true identity and what the Hawks carry into each game. And by the way, if any of you guys have not voted Trae Young and Jalen Johnson, shoot, even DeAndre Hunter into the All-Star game, do that right now because voting will end in February. So we need those votes to count. Get those boys in San Francisco.
Your vote matters.
Yeah, baby. It's like the election year all over again, except it's not toxic anymore.
And we're going to start posting voting campaigns on our Instagram, just like we saw all through the election.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we'll get like Jalen Johnson and Trae Young to do like little voices, like I'm Trae Young and I approve this message.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure we can get them to do that.
Sure. It's not a big ask, like come on.
Well, we can use AI. We could use AI.
We do. AI is a thing.
But would we get in trouble for that? Would we get in trouble?
There's only one way to find out, am I right? If our podcast gets canceled and we stop posting, y'all know what happened.
Yeah, we push the limits too much.
We cross the line. If all of a sudden our YouTube channel just gets blocked, it's because we crossed some kind of line.
Yeah. I will say this, like I'm gonna go to the Raptors. Like, if we don't win this game, like we still have 2 more games against them, and they're both at home. One of them, we're going to on the 23rd.
Sir.
On the 23rd, and then the other one is 2 days later on the 25th.
Yep. Oh yeah, I didn't even realize we played the Raptors back to back in late January. That's interesting.
It's like kind of like when we played the Wizards back to back and lost on both.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when I got the tickets, like I guess I could have said, "Hey, we're trying to work out better for y'all," but I didn't know how busy y'all Saturday was, so I just picked up Thursday.
And that's fine. No, that works perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, that does work perfect.
All right. Yeah. Because I mean, I don't think I've got anything else going on. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's great. So, yeah. I've already got my tickets for me and my brother. That was my Christmas gift to him. Was Hawks tickets. So I'm just wanting y'all to get y'all's tickets, and we will be at StateFarm Arena.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely, baby. Sure. You know it.
But yeah, so of course, Hawks got that big game road trip coming up. Start with the Raptors tonight. But I guess before we close this episode, is there any other final remarks you want to make? Anything else I might want to talk about?
I do.
Just looking at this road streak. It's very tough. I mean, got Nuggets, Lakers, Clippers, Jazz. Not really, but I mean, Suns. But
This is
that's pretty tough. I mean, Nuggets. I mean, they're very unpredictable. They're Jokic can either like have a stinker or drop a triple double like that.
Yeah, yeah. You don't know what kind of game you're gonna get from Jokic. You just know it's gonna be a big game. Whatever stat line whatever stat category he wants to put 20 plus up on, he'll do it when he wants.
Yeah. It's almost inevitable every time you play him.
I also want to say, I think a quiet factor to the why the Hawks have been playing such great basketball is, have y'all noticed that Quinn Snyder has changed his glasses from those bright red glasses to just solid black? And ever since he's done that, our game has just flipped. Have y'all noticed that? Or
apparently this whole time his glasses has been the problem.
I did not know that. I did not know that because I've seen his glasses obviously because it's very hard to miss red bulky glasses.
They're iconic.
No, I didn't know.
Now it's just solid. It's just solid black glasses, and everybody ever since he switched them, like Andy said, the Hawks have flipped a switch, and we just look like a completely new basketball team.
The glasses theory, I like that. The glasses theory.
I think the red glasses has some bad mojo on it or something because.
Ooh. Can we also talk about John? So we all three have a group chat together where we just talk Atlanta Hawks. Who would have guessed that? But John sent a video in there after the Heat game was over about that Heat thing.
I love that. Okay, I'm not with it because the Hawks use that. I'm gonna use that sound 3 times. They used it twice against the Celtics when we had those back-to-back game winners.
Yep.
From Murray and Hunter, I believe.
Hunter, yep.
And then they used it against the Knicks when we were in Atlanta for the Georgia Tech game. I believe they use that sound as well for the Knicks fans leaving the arena. I love when the Hawks do that.
I love it.
Good. And then you see Harry giving the tissues to the fans.
The tissues,
yeah. We saw him do that earlier against the Knicks as well.
That's hilarious.
He did that. I remember Harry the Hawk did that twice last year when we beat the Celtics back to back, and he was just passing that big box of tissues. And I also want to point out another thing that I thought the Hawks did last night yesterday that was hilarious was every time the Heat were shooting free throws on the Jumbotron, they would put up a picture of
Dwayne Wade statue.
Dwayne Wade statue that's so unbelievably hideous, and it's so funny. It's so funny. I don't know who's getting control of all the graphics on the scoreboard, but the Hawks do not miss. They know how to troll the opposing team so well. It's so funny.
I remember a couple of years ago, back in the Vince Carter days, when the Hawks were hosting the Raptors, and I want to say it was Dennis Schroeder. No, it was Trae Young, I think. Yeah, it was Trae Young. They got Trae Young to do his best drawing of the Toronto Raptors logo. No, that's what it was. It was children's night. It was their kids game. You know how the Hawks had the kids game every day. Yeah. So they want some of the children to do their best to draw a dinosaur. And of course, these are children, so they're little stick figure dinosaurs. And there was one that was so hideously ugly. It was like a stick figure dinosaur with a big head with teeth. So for that game on the scoreboard, the Hawks used that logo as the Raptors logo the entire night. I thought it was the funniest thing.
It's hilarious. Yeah. It's absolutely is. Oh, I guess a good way to wrap up this episode is, how do you guys feel about the Lakers sending D'Angelo Russell back to Brooklyn along with Maxwell Lewis and 3 second-round picks for Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton? I know we kind of had a conversation about this in the group chat, but y'all guys on air, just go ahead and give y'all thoughts. For me, I'll let Chase speak on it a little bit more because I don't want to steal his thunder. But Chase did mention that he loves it for both sides, and I actually agree. But I'll let you kind of give your reasoning.
So I do love it on both sides because D'Lo has been struggling a little bit this year, and now the Nets have been kind of a surprising this year, especially the way Schroeder's been playing. And they've been kind of a team that's been sneaking in and out of the play-in. So a guy like D'Lo, if everybody remembers Brooklyn Nets, D'Angelo Russell, the best version of D'Lo we have ever seen. So it's gonna be very what's the word for it? What's the word? Like nostalgic. It's gonna be very nostalgic to see him back in that jersey. And I think Dorian Finney-Smith is a piece that could fit very well with the Lakers. Now, everybody's saying that if the Lakers really want to be true contenders, they're gonna need some bigger pieces, which I agree. But I think Dorian Finney-Smith is a great start. What I don't love about the trade is the Lakers sending 3 second-round picks. Now, I understand this is a team that's trying to make some moves. So, as LeBron's heading towards the end of his career, AD as well, kind of, maybe, because of his injuries. Either way, they're trying to force us into a team that could win the championship this year. So, they're going to need some more pieces. And I don't think trading 3 second rounds for Dorian Finney-Smith was the smartest idea because they're going to need to use some of those draft picks for more pieces as the trade deadline approaches. So outside of that, though, I think it's a great trade for both teams. Yeah. But I know what Joyner's trying to do. I know Joyner's trying to show us something that he was talking about on the group chat.
Yeah, I couldn't find it. I'm sorry. I swear I couldn't find it. I think we got it written because it was too small for me anyway. Like a small, and I'm now we're large now. But I swear I had one. I swear I have some stuff. I'll try and find it. And maybe next episode I'll show, or maybe I'll send it into the group chat or something. But I swear I do have one.
For those who don't know what he's talking about, he went to New York one time and got a D'Lo Brooklyn Nets jersey. This is back when obviously D'Lo played for the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah,
prime D'Lo.
Yeah,
prime D'Lo. But yeah, I mean, because I just like collecting like different jerseys and stuff.
Right.
I'm only doing that for for both football and for both football and basketball. But for baseball, I like collecting the little baseball caps.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, honestly, a Brooklyn Nets D'Lo jersey is tough. It's tough. It's kind of
it is. You know, it is. It was a basic black D'Lo jersey.
Yeah.
Back when they had the retro street jerseys, you know what I'm talking about? Those are so sick.
D'Lo had so much aura in those jerseys, dude.
He did.
That was before people even knew what aura meant or started using the word aura. But yeah, he had a lot of it. Yes, he had a lot of it.
But I do want to say one last thing before we wrap with this episode. If you're listening, because I know you listen to the show, Sydney Thomas, if you want to come join us for our next episode, we will not deny that request.
No,
first we get Haley Boach's endorsement, the Hawk Tour girl. First we get her endorsement. Now we have Sydney Thomas coming to our games.
Dude, we're building our brand. This is how you do it.
If it's going to influence Jalen Johnson to put up 30 pieces every night, by all means.
We'll
have a seat saved for you, Sydney.
We all saw how Jalen Johnson looked when he saw Sydney Thomas. Buddy was geeking like crazy.
Would you not?
Oh, I would. Absolutely, I would.
Maybe they could be the new Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift.
Oh. Hey, you know what? Yes, I'll take it.
Yeah, let's go for it. You know, it's going to turn Jalen Johnson into an MVP contender.
I'll take it.
Well, let's do it.
Whatever it takes, man.
Whatever it takes. But
all right. But y'all guys have any more thoughts y'all want to throw out there?
I will see y'all next year because you know.
yeah, we'll see. This is the last episode of the year, man. It's kind of we won't see y'all till next year, and it's such a long wait.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
It's tough.
But by the time we record our next episode, you know, we're all going to be different. You know, it's going to be a new year. The Hawks.
I might have a full thick beard.
Like you just don't know. We might all have children. Our children might be joining us for the podcast.
Yeah. Hey, you never know. You never know.
You just never freaking know. But thank you guys for being on this journey with us through 2025. We will see you guys in 2026. when the Hawks officially begin.
Buddy, 2025 is next year, dog.
Oh, I'm jumping 2 years into the future.
But we'll be back next year. We ain't come back in 26.
Yeah.
Don't panic, guys. We'll be back in 25.
Yeah, we're just gonna take a year-long break. We're just
canceled. Yeah, we're canceled. We're canceled. We're done.
Yeah, that's the bad news. We got a year ban on YouTube. That's the bad news we haven't brought to y'all yet.
For all the political ads.
Stuff. We're done.
Yeah. So, let me start that over. We will see you guys in 2025.
There we go.
Yes,
and that's when the Hawks will really start to document their 2025 NBA Finals run. But
golly,
I'm dropping my mic out here. Anyways, but as for me, Chase, and John Joyner himself, A-Town, baby, we will see you guys next year.
Let's go.